Is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome to the Hit Back. I'm your host, Nahaja Black. Beautiful day here in the 242. Hope that you are doing well, taking care of yourself, and living your best life today. I got a special show for you today. My special show for you today is, of course, I have a special guest. This gentleman, it's pre-recorded. I had to do the interview on Thursday of last week. This was when he was in town. It's not streaming live on... It is streaming live, but just the audio version of it. It's online now on YouTube or Facebook. There's no video of it, just some photos that were taken. But I had an opportunity to chat with someone who, when I was doing sports talk for 5.5 years, 5 years, always one of those persons I wanted to interview. Because of course I still got this whole thing about how do you make it big, you be successful, how do you move from your talent and your gift to doing more. And now I finally get a chance to chat with him, and so you'll have that interview, which, by the way, was pleasantly surprised to where we went with the conversation in the show, his candor, his transparency, vulnerability in that discussion. Pretty cool stuff there for my special guest. So I'll let you know who it is when we get to that interview, which will take up most of the show, by the way. But it's a beautiful day here in Nassau. We got some other news. So my good friend, Dr. Dwayne Sands, has officially put in his nomination for chairman of the Free National Movement. And really, I don't see a reason why he shouldn't win it, right? But then there's party issues. There are party, and obviously, the last person they want to care about whose advice is mine, I'm sure. But the Free National Movement, as a party that I voted for before, right? And as many Bahamians, I think more so than not, who aren't party aficionados, like we don't side with the party, we support any government that will do the work of the people, that Dr. Dwayne Sands is a good candidate. And darn it, he's shown that he can speak to the press, that he has no problem with answering the tough questions. At the same time, he can throw blows. Some of them didn't land, but don't watch nothing. If you throw 100 blows, you're hoping to have at least a Floyd Mayweather chance of knocking. Nope, Floyd don't knock anyone out. But you jab him until you win the match. I think that's Dwayne Sands. I think he can throw all of his jabs, his left hooks, his right hooks, spin around the ring, kind of throw us off for a loop, distract us here or there. And before you know it, there's a possibility that he will be 13-0. So I think Dr. Dwayne Sands is a good option, I think, as chairman. And the former speaker, first woman damn speaker, Roma Talia Johnson, has put her name behind, and hold on, let me just make sure if I catch how this goes. I need to make sure, because it just hit me just now, the sister of Ellsworth Johnson and the first speaker. So, no, not the sister of Ellsworth Johnson. Ellsworth Johnson's sister, because he got to know order. Ellsworth Johnson's, her little brother, the former speaker, Roma Talia Johnson, the first female speaker in the House of Assembly, if memory serves me correctly, I think, has put her stake, her backing to Dwayne Sands. And I think that Mr. Johnson, Ellsworth, is also running for chairman. I could be, I can't remember. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. But that's interesting. But we digress. Something else, because I think that's interesting, if that's the case. Sibling issues? I doubt it. Just knowing the right choice, man. You just got to know the right choice. And Dwayne for chairman. Way to go, buddy. I'm wishing him all the best. Of course, he's a big friend of the show. And always answering questions. And that's what I love about him, That's why I have great respect for persons who had no problem saying, hey, we're going to answer some of the questions. Because again, the questions aren't, well, for me anyway, it's not to prove you wrong. It's actually to figure out what we're doing and how do we as the people follow and understand the process, right? So congratulations to and to everyone who's put their name out in the ring, because running for anything is not an easy feat. Putting yourself out there in the public or to not win, because it takes, first of all, you just got to go in and knowing that the odds are against you. It's 5 of us running. 1 of us will win, 4 will not. All right? 40 of us go in for Miss Universe. Only 1 is the winner. The conciliary prizes of 2nd and 3rd, they don't mean nothing, right? Just runner up in case I don't make it, you could take over. So again, kudos to them for running. And we need a robust opposition to help keep all and in government accountable. So that's something to note. Also, on another thought there, I wanted to make sure I mention that the stadium. Okay, so here is where I have to, okay, we're having this discussion about the stadium, right? The National Stadium. The stadium, when it was initially being built, there was questions on, is it the right size? What are we hoping to do with the stadium in terms of sports? One thing you can say for sure, the one thing for sure you knew was that Mr. Christie understood that there was a national impact, social impact of sports in our country. Also, that there were some benefits of, sports tourism, that we could begin to change and diversify who we are and how we work. So we saw, and I'm biased, of course, because in my first few years was in sports, doing sports talk, sports journalism, right? And someone who was not a journalist, but if I wanted a sports talk show, one of the bargaining chips, the barter agreement I did was that I would have to be a sports reporter. And I did that for a few months. And it afforded me the opportunity to learn and know more about people. Then I got an opportunity at ZSR. Then I took a break, came back to ZSR. It was all fun, I tell you right now. So I'm still a part of some groups, and some of my closest friends are sports people. But anyways, the baseball stadium was always one of those that was kind of questionable in terms of the scope of it. Is it the right size? Is it too small? Is it going to be able to do what we wanted or needed to do? And I'm hearing the talk now about, hey, should we abandon the baseball stadium? Oh, is the baseball stadium now, when you look at it, is it something that's feasible? Is it something we should be dealing with? Should we be, because, sports before the former administration, the prior administration, was happening in country. Obviously, COVID would have stopped that for everyone as it did everywhere else. But that would have been 2 years. But the stadium not being used is not because of COVID, by and large. Sports was kind of abandoned. I'm sorry. And I said this, sports was abandoned in country. It was not a tenet by which the former administration cared anything, in my estimation, for. And I think that was a failure in understanding what it was doing, what momentum it was gaining. We had no respect for sports, it felt like. No momentum, but we want to praise our athletes when they go out and run. And when they go out to run, we're saying we don't have money to let them run. A bunch of foolishness we were doing. So now we need more strength in our track and field, more strength in our baseball. You know how many young men have made it into the pros through baseball? And they're still using Freedom Farm, and then you still got JBLM. And we need to give them a real space. Can we now have training facilities where our athletes no longer have to train in Florida? That's another level of tourism, where we can have folks saying, listen, instead of going to Florida, we can come into the beautiful isles of the Bahamas and rest up, get our physical therapy here, get our ice baths here, get all of our recovery, be using Olympics type tracks, using facilities to get our pitching and batting practices on. Also, can we get some summer leagues or some minor league teams here in terms of sports tourism? To abandon it is to go back to saying that our youth and our efforts in sports doesn't matter, but we are the winningest country per capita in gold medals in the world. I think if not the winningest, the second. because of our size and the level by which we win. We have 2 Olympic gold medalists in the 400 meters. 2. That's what we do. This is who we are. We are greater beyond the limitations of numbers and the cost. This is an investment and an identity. And I would, if we cannot allow Bahama to be a white elephant, we should not allow the sporting stadium to be a white elephant. There are some priorities, some things. And yes, the government should tell us, hey, listen, how are we going to, this is not Field of Dreams. How are we going to make this thing viable? How do we get teams here? Do we have a sporting plan? And do we have a youth plan? Do we have a sports tourism system, some strategy that will funnel people into these things so that this complex, which is brilliant in terms of the sporting complex, can continue to foster and bring about this sort of farming system we want in all sports to continue to take us up on the map. We can't afford to play Shawnee and Stevie. I think Janet Evans, I think that's her name. Please forgive me, not Janet Evans, our swimmer. What's her name? Who's been doing so well abroad, and I'm so certain I got her name incorrect. When we have, all of these wonderful talents, equestrian and all of these things, that we continue to find ways to uplift them. All of these young men. I mean, we've got Chisholm in the Florida Marlins doing his thing. I mean, almost Rookie of the Year, if not Rookie of the Year. So sports matters. The complex matters. It should not be allowed to be a white elephant. We cannot abandon certain things. Certain things I think are important. You can't talk about the government. You can't talk about the country moving forward, and you don't talk about some of the social things, some of the youth impacting things that matter in building a country and moving it forward. Let's go to my special guest, none other than Mr. Rick Fox himself.
It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. Fidelity, we're good for you.
We believe in relationship banking. We take pride in getting to know our clients. You have access to knowledgeable, approachable ambassadors and financial coaches so that we can recommend the best product for you. At Fidelity, we care about you. From your financial health to your physical health, we can relate to you because we're just like you. Come and start your relationship banking experience with us today. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Visit any of our branches in Nassau or Grand Bahama, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau, or 352-6676 for Freeport.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
When I got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. It's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome to the Hit Back. I'm your host, Nahaja Black. It is a beautiful day here in the 242. I hope that you are doing well, taking care of yourself, and living your best life today. I've got a special guest in studio, and I can't wait to introduce him because, of course, you know this person. You know this gentleman. You know him from all of the things you've seen on television. You know him as an NBA champion. Multiple, what is it? How do we say it? Don't
Too many. A little bit. A lot.
Listen, I was trying to figure out
a bunch of them.
quite a bit. NBA champion, multi-time, many times. All of a sudden, I can't figure it out. But he's multiple rings. He is a business owner. He is actually what I consider a pioneer in the field in gaming. Why I say that is definitely we in the Bahamas aren't really, we're not attuned to esports for the many of us, but there are some esport aficionados in country. He is an actor. He is an activist. He is also soon to be someone that is going to be quite, at large in country. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to welcome to the show none other than Mr. Rick Fox himself. Rick, how are you?
Great. It's a pleasure to be here. It's really an honor not only to share the media stage with you, but to be a part of this part of your life in person. So much has gone, technology, viral and virtual that it's nice to be in person.
Listen, when I tell you, the fact that we can do this in person is big time because we haven't been able to do anything like you said.
Right.
So human contact is big.
Yeah.
And knowing that I get to meet you in person as I've followed you for as long as I can remember.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for saying yes to this and being on the show.
My pleasure.
So, okay, Rick, first of all, listen, man, you're my good Bahamian brother.
You know it.
You know it, and you've been making waves. You have transcended, and this is one of those questions I have for you, but transcended what many thought was possible, transitioning from athlete to actor, and really doing so well in it, right? I remember, I said, look at Rick in Medea.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was like, look at my guy. This is big. I want to ask you this question, one of the more curious questions, and the show won't be in order, so forgive me.
No, don't worry about it. That's what we got editing for.
Yeah, that's right.
I think we're going to put it in the order we want to put it in. Yeah.
But one of the more interesting things that I've always been curious of for you is, when you were a little boy, did you see your life this way? Or was there another dream? And when did you see it start to unfold into what it is now?
Boy, where do you begin? Well, for those that may just be meeting me for the first time, we're home here in Nassau, where we're at, the streets, school, church, my foundation's here. So everything that one could imagine growing up in, although these times may be different for some that are in their youth right now, for me, growing up in the Bahamas was a simpler time, but I was fortunate to have parents that believed that even though we might have appeared to be a dot on the map when you're studying where we exist as a country in the world in comparison to some of the other land masses out there, no way was it ever communicated to me that in some way the world was not my oyster and that this was my home. But if I had a dream that was big enough to fill the map, that it was nothing that would prevent me from not exploring or creating, having a voice, having ideas, creating a world for me that would touch every corner of the map. And so at a young age, and thankfully from my father, he led by example. He was a young man in the country back in the 70s that was a part of what a lot of courageous young men at the time in this country fought for, which was our own independence. So I was blessed to grow up in a country where I try to tell some of my African-American friends in the States, I grew up in a country where black people ran the country.
That's right.
And so when you talk about the confidence as a young black man growing up, I watched my father run a business. I watched him be a man of the community. I watched him interact with all stations of life here at home. But I watched him suit up and, more importantly, show up every day and provide for his family, work so diligently, hard, but not only for himself, but to be an example to others in the community. So to me, he left me with a few words of wisdom. He was not a man of many words, but he always told me he's, had manners. So you're always going to say please and thank you. He always told me that to take care of my brothers and sisters, look out for your family members. And lastly, he said, you're a Bahamian, you could do anything.
And I think that you said something so powerful, because I shared this with a friend the other day. One of the things, as many Bahamians have now decided to live abroad, right? Like they've decided, hey, listen, I'm going to try my hand somewhere else. And one of the things that I laughed at is, I got a good friend, one of my closest friends, she left, was that we as Bahamians, we don't wake up feeling our color. We don't discuss color.
No,
it's not a thing it's never on our minds.
Right.
right? And so it gives us a sense of confidence. You go into a space and you say, I'm going to start a business.
Yeah.
I belong here. Like that, we don't grow up with those insecurities.
No.
And you mentioned that it gives you a confidence. And I have to ask this, did that, because you said it earlier that, hey, there's nothing where the world wasn't your oyster. But as a young Bahamian man, did you see it so much so evident that you were different?
No, to your point, as Bahamians, we are enriched with a sense of confidence and pride, not only of our culture and our heritage, but just that wherever we are in the world, we're Bahamian.
Yeah.
So we believe we're the best of the best. And we continue to prove that, whether it's home or whether we're out anywhere in the world. We carry ourselves with a level of stature and rooted foundation, and that's built here from home, right? Whether you're growing up, where you're raised by the community at large. We're fortunate enough to be on an island where you're getting raised not only by your parents but everyone, where you're influenced and impacted by those around you. And in my case, you asked me earlier if I saw my life being what it has become, and I would say, thankfully, I had examples of what was possible from other Bahamian men, like I mentioned, men that run the country. So I believed that power was something that was attainable.
Yeah.
It was something that was a right. If I
you
wanted
chose
it,
Yes.
it was mine
Yes.
to go and pursue. There was no cap in my mind of what was that in some way there was a station I couldn't rise to. Didn't have any of that going on in my head. But also, fortunately for me, there were examples of men and women, but men doing it on a grand scale globally. So the likes of Michael Thompson, who was a neighbor. He was around the street from me in Blair Estates. So I could ride my bike from Fox Hill to Blair Estates and see Michael Thompson's house. So he was a real person. My dad took me to his shoe store down by the bridge when he had a shoe store that he opened up where he was selling Nike shoes. So I got my first basketball shoes from Michael Thompson.
How did I not know that happened?
He was a real person.
Yeah.
Right? But he was out there having gone to Miami to high school, went on to Minnesota, and then became the #1 draft pick in the NBA draft. He was representing us in the NBA, but on a grand scale. So the thought that someone that was a bike ride away from my house was doing these type of things, in my mind, made it a possibility. There was a blueprint there, and no different than Sidney Poitier. We had family friends that were relatives of Sidney's, so I grew up knowing of him, knowing of his history, and it was real to me. Like Sidney Poitier was just not a movie star off in the States somewhere.
Yeah.
He was, he was Marcus and uncle and cousin. Like these were family members that were close, close friends of mine. So growing up with that as an example of possibility in the arts, which gave me a bridge of confidence that hey, when I was done playing basketball, this is something that I could explore and transition into. 25 years later, now did I think I was gonna have the career that I've had so far that continues to obviously grow? No, but I just put my head down and like my dad, suit up and show up and bring the best version of myself every day. And I'm okay being a beginner. I'm okay not being the smartest person in the room. I'm okay not being the best person today. But if I'm around the better people, I know I'm gonna grow as an individual. And so I've just found myself around great coaches and great teammates, and then on sets I found myself with great directors and great actors, and I just keep learning from them.
It's so interesting, and if you're just tuning in, Rick Fox joining us, the legendary, the illustrious, the talented Rick Fox, and very humble, I might add, gentleman, very accessible, which is always refreshing.
My grandmother beat that out of me on Mackey Street.
Than your britches, my friend. You never get bigger than your britches.
Like I say, it takes a community to raise a kid, right?
You're right on that.
Right, but before I left here to go to school.
And and I want to, because that's where the foundation is always interesting. The foundations of success are fundamental to your story, right? That every human that has a success story, there are some stories or tenets to it, and really organic success. When I mean, not the, I bequeath you $100 million when I die success, which is, just great.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking about the rising up,
Yeah.
and your story in and of itself. When you talk about the character and the persons in your life and the culture by which you were raised, we understand that those are fundamental tools.
Yeah.
Right? But what were the key takeaways from your childhood that you believe, because you said it twice, show up,
Suit up and show up.
That's it, suit up and show up.
A professionalism, a responsibility, a consistency to an accountability to the people around you. In the case of my dad, he had people that worked for him. He had family members that worked for him. He was a leader in the community. He set an example for other businessmen. In the case, I was raised at Faith Temple. I was raised at Kingsway Academy. So I had a foundation in education and faith that was there on a day-to-day basis that sent me out in the world, obviously, with the understanding of my accountability to God, but also my accountability to my family and how I represent them when I'm out in the world. So all those pieces were there. Again, I took my share of whoopings. You spare the rod, spoil the child, right? And I got enough rods that I wasn't spoiled. I didn't get spoiled. So, and they came from more than just my parents. They came from teachers. They came from my grandmother. They came from, uncles and aunts. They kept me on the right way. And so when I left home to go out into the world, I was already anchored in faith, anchored in character and manners and character. The things that as kids we don't know we're being set in place. We just mad at our parents. We just mad at our teachers, and we think they out against us, right? But when you get the right foundation in place, it allows for the tree to sprout up and grow into an existence that's greater than even you can see at the time.
Yeah, I love it, and I'm happy that you're saying it because we talk about success, or a lot of us view success as the end product, but there's a foundation, and then there's a process, right? And the foundation in your story is I think the most important because it then sets the table for what comes later.
Yeah.
Right? And when we talk about your life and career thus far, you're a diversified, versatile, agile gentleman. Yeah. You're not a boxed fellow. You don't fit in any one box.
No.
Have you ever read the series The Divergent?
No, not yet. But I've seen a couple of the movies with my kids. Yeah.
I just loved. My biggest thing was I always said I must be factionless, right? Because there's just not one box I fit into.
Right.
There's spaces you go into that the opportunity just allows your talents to shine, or gifts you didn't know you necessarily had to be stretched. But let's talk about the first thing.
Yeah. I
don't know if it's the first thing, but the thing that made you a household name, which was basketball.
Right.
Now, you said you lived, just down the street from. You could ride on your bicycle from Fox Hill to Blair to see Mr. Thomas, or Michael Thompson, right? Sweet belts.
Yeah.
Right? Was that the impetus for your sporting desire, or did you just have a natural ability?
Well, if you grew up in the Bahamas in the 70s, we did not play a ton of basketball here. I mean, I grew up with fast pitch softball.
Okay.
I grew up track and field, and then I was the goalie on the soccer team. It wasn't until I was probably 13 years old that we started to have a basketball court, and I was made aware of basketball. So Michael Thompson was kind of the first example of, this is the path to the highest heights of your career in basketball. So basketball was where I kind of first cut my teeth in visibility because it was something that afforded me the opportunity to go to high school. Didn't necessarily want to leave. Wish I could have been discovered here at Kingsway Academy, but the opportunity to go play high school basketball in Indiana was something that I knew would kind of be a stepping stone to college, a college scholarship. Ended up being discovered by Dean Smith, who was one of the greatest coaches. And in my time at North Carolina, I had Michael Jordan as a mentor.
What?
So I got to spend the summers with him.
That's awesome.
And that kind of advanced my confidence. And then I was drafted by Red Auerbach in Boston Celtic days and played with Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish. I'm showing my age a little bit. But I was a rookie under those guys. Played in the Boston Garden, and they tore that down. Played there 6 years, and then Jerry West came a-calling, the logo. So if you know the NBA logo, that's Jerry West. He recruited me to come to LA to be there with Shaq and Kobe, and Robert Horry and Derek Fisher and a lot of other great players. And then Phil Jackson was signed as the coach. So I played for Phil. Dr. Jerry Buss, the owner. And we won 3 championships. So I had a 13-year career. But when I was drafted in 1991, the media asked me on draft day what I wanted for my basketball career. And no one had asked me that. Up until that point, I just wanted to make it to the NBA. I hadn't set my goals for what my NBA career would look like. And so it was in that moment of that night in June that I said I want to play 12 years and win 3 championships.
Wow.
So they printed that in the newspaper back in 1991. And this is the power of, speaking something into existence, where you start to move towards it when you're conscious and when you're not even conscious of it, right? You put it out into the world. And I played 12 years and won 3 championships at the end of the 12th year. In my 13th year, I ruptured the tendon in my foot.
And that was it.
And that was kind of it. So my first piece of advice to anyone out there is be careful what you speak, because you'll move towards it.
Yeah.
And the thing that we started this conversation on, which is the point you made about me being not fitting in any particular box. I think as I've now reached the age of 52, the thing that I probably most appreciate about the foundation that was laid by my parents and my family here in the Bahamas is that it's somewhere in that foundation I gained the understanding of the importance of being a beginner on a daily basis. Taking up an enthusiastic approach to learning, growing, evolving, finding the better version of yourself in every situation you're in, a curiosity.
Yeah.
You can't live on an island and not have a curiosity,
That's right.
right? Because you're wanting to know everything that exists where you live, right? In my case, that just led to wanting to know more about the world.
That's it.
And when it came to career paths, I was always curious about, how do I, where do I go from here? What's the next existence? What can I explore? What can I be a beginner in again next? And I have zero noise. Again, like I said, I have zero noise about being a rookie in any field, regardless of what it is. Throw me in, and I'm anxious to learn. I'm anxious to grow. I'm anxious to evolve. And over the course of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, I'll find myself towards the end as one of the experts in that field.
That's right.
And I think it's just a journey. When people get lost in and probably paralyzed by is the thought that at the start they're supposed to be an expert when there's no possible way. It's like picking up a guitar, a musical instrument, expecting to know how to play it. You can't. You have to just go on the journey of discovering that instrument. For me, it's like go on the journey of discovering a career, a craft, a new experience in my life, and I trust that every day I'll get better. But I don't put the pressure on myself to be a champion in that field for any time soon. So if I had left my NBA career, a 3-time NBA champion, and I had stepped into the TV and movie business and expected to be Sidney Poitier level, I mean, who am I kidding, right? I was like, I had to be a rookie. 25 years later, I'm still not Sidney's level, but I'm better than I was as a rookie.
And that's what is so, I think encouraging about your story. And one of the things that I love that you said, you used the word curiosity. And I found that for me, in an area where I'm not a journalist, I didn't go to school for journalism. I've ended up in this because of my curiosity. The need to learn from folks. So I have this thing where I don't tend to ask you too many questions before an interview. Because I like the idea of the answer being organic. Because once I know something, I stop being curious about it. I stop asking questions. Right? Because I've learned that thing. And it's in the moments when you share something new and I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
There's a superpower. If I could give the kids out there a superpower that would listen to this, the superpower that you're allowed to have for a long time, and maybe for your entire life, as long as you don't let somebody take it away from you, is the power of asking questions. The more questions you ask, the more information you obtain. And when you're younger, Adults expect you to ask questions. Now, at some point, an adult's going to tell you, stop asking questions. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to that adult. Okay? Don't. Ask as many questions as you can from as many people as you can. And if someone doesn't want to answer your question, take the same question and find someone else who will answer it for you. That was a superpower that I had at a young age, that I was fortunately wasn't shut off. And I just kept asking questions, and I kept learning, and I kept learning, and I fortunately was surrounded by people that were willing to pass the tools and the information on to me.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We have on set with us the one and only.
In person, in
living color. First time I've ever met him in person. And I'm very excited that he said yes to it. The one and only Rick Fox. We will be back right after this.
When I had got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. That's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
You have to be strong in today's world. Keep your focus and what you believe in, how to achieve all your dreams. Keep moving forward. Never accept less than who you are. Live your best life. Be strong and free. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Joining us, of course, in studio is none other than Mr. Rick Fox. Rick, again, thank you so much for the time, my friend. Okay, so then we're talking about the audacity of curiosity, just asking questions, the superpower you talk about, because that never being afraid of being a rookie, and I love that line, because I can imagine when you were a rookie, things were a bit daunting, but you had a point to prove.
But you know what else being a rookie does for you? It allows for mistakes.
Yeah.
A rookie is expected to make mistakes.
I love that.
So think about that. When you're beginning something, the sooner they move you out of rookie status, the more you find the pressure, creep up, right? Be okay with being a rookie. Anyone asks you, I'm just a beginner.
Yeah.
I'm just learning this.
I don't know, I'm learning.
But people want to rush to credentials.
Yes.
They want to rush towards, being the boss, being the expert. For me, I'm never the expert. I never want to be seen as the expert, because then people will stop sharing information.
That's it. They'll start seeking information from you.
They'll stop seeking.
You're the level.
Now you're the expert. Now you got to relay it to me. I'm the dumb one in the room. I'm always
seeking to be the one.
I'm always seeking to be the one that's learning. Yeah. And having the information flow in. So be okay to be the rookie. Take out the ego in the equation. And if someone asks you, what do you know about this? I don't know anything. Tell me. What can you share with me? What can you show me? What can you teach me? And you might get a lot of the same information you already know. But everyone has something to offer.
Always.
Your journey is different in media than my journey in media. I can learn something from you, right? I know nothing about being in media at home here.
Yeah. Yeah. And trust me,
we come to LA, I can help you there.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I come here, I got to talk to you, right?
I figure you've mastered there sufficiently. You're good here. You're exceptional.
No. See? But that's
the mindset.
That's the mindset I talk about. I would never come here where you've spent all of the time and the hours mastering here and think that I would know more than you here.
Never.
I would be looking for you to show me.
Got to, right? And that's the wisdom in humility, because that allows you the opportunity to learn the lay of the land. One of the things that I think is important, or that I believe in so strongly, Rick, is that you can't go in another land and not respect the culture, know the people.
Right.
You've got to know the culture and the lay of the land, because no matter how skilled you are,
right,
You won't get them to buy into you. You won't get them to follow your leader. You won't get the information you seek to triumph, to be successful, unless you show that you respect the people in which you are there to serve. And that mindset of service, I think, gives you humility and wisdom and asks questions, understanding that you're not bigger than the space you're in.
Right, regardless of the space. Whether it's a country, whether it's an office, whether it's work, like you share it.
Yeah.
You share the space. We share a common space, right? We're communal together to try and, like, here we are creating a piece of, an interview for an audience.
Yeah.
We're sharing that space. It's not about me, it's about us, right? Whenever you can move through life with a mindset of inclusion and cooperation, you get further. I always say you get further together.
Yeah.
Like, some people want to go alone. It's a lonely road.
And cold.
I try to get my son to understand that. He's 26. He likes to do things alone. I said, you're going to need people. You're going to need your family. You're going to need your friends. You're going to need coworkers and partners in life. You go further together.
Yeah. You've pivoted. Like I said, you're one of those persons who just, your agility, your flexibility, your versatility is just something to commend. And it shows a level of fearlessness. And I'm not saying that because you have no fear, but it shows that the audacity to try something new, to expand and say, hey, self, I may not have thought of going into this area, but there's an opportunity here and I'd like to check it out. Yeah. Or I think I can do that. And there must be a mindset to it. And it goes back to that foundation of, I
don't have, well, first of all, I got God on my side.
Yeah, amen.
So,
amen.
So there's something about being raised in the church where you feel covered by the blood and you're protected.
Amen.
And you just lean on that, lean down into your own understanding, but acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. My path has been His path.
Amen.
Really, it's not my path. He just, I just trust that if a door opens up, I'm supposed to go that way, and I don't have any noise about failing. I don't have any noise about falling down. I don't have an expectation that I shouldn't be afraid when I first start something. We spend so much wasted energy in life trying to project that we're not nervous or that we're not unsure of ourselves or that we're not, anxious.
Yeah, like this.
All that.
That's a lot of energy, man.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of energy.
If we would just understand that it's okay to be those things, that it's not to be ashamed that you're nervous or you're anxious or you're afraid. I jump. I've always been if I'm uncomfortable, you better believe I'm moving towards exactly that direction. Yeah. Whatever I'm uncomfortable about, I'm trying to figure out. That's an area I can grow in. That's it. And I step in, fearful, nervous, anxiety-driven. All the same feelings that anyone else would have, I have too. The difference may be that I don't expect that I shouldn't have them. Yeah. I don't try to hide them. I openly acknowledge, hey man, I'm nervous.
I don't know.
This is new. I'm a rookie. Dude. I don't know what I'm doing. I told somebody this morning at breakfast, a very prominent individual in the country. I said to him, hey man, I just got to tell you, man, I feel nervous about this, right? And that's, and just releasing that and speaking that and letting that go. You know what it allows the other person to do? It allows the other person to be of service and help you. It allows them to go, well, let me help you with that.
Yeah.
Right? Someone more experienced, more comfortable is going to say, I got you.
Yeah.
I got your back.
Yeah.
Because now they feel, because you know what they realize? That they were you, only but so long ago, right?
Yeah.
And so they can have empathy for you. But if you show up and you're like, I got this, and you faking it till you make it,
you don't receive it.
You're going to spend way more energy trying to get to where you're trying to go than if you just acknowledge, hey, I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to suit up and show up and work hard.
Yeah, that's
it.
Those are the tenets. Those are the principles.
I'm going to be professional. I don't expect to be treated any different. But I'm just letting you know that it's going to take me a minute to be great. But I'm heading towards great.
Yeah. Oh, that's great is the ultimate position.
That's all.
Always.
That's all you got to move towards.
So then acting.
Yeah.
That door, how did it open? Or did you bust it down?
So here's the other thing that I think that's a tenet for me in life has always been to be present, which a lot of times we can move around in our head and our feelings. And, sometimes I always like to tell people, it's okay to have feelings. Just don't let feelings have you.
That's right.
Right? Where your feelings dominate your decisions. You make decisions from emotion. and you're reactive, and some people can lose a whole day, sometimes a whole week, in some cases a whole month, and that'll lead to a life. Loss in your feelings of wanting to be validated because you feel angry or you feel disrespected or you feel, those feelings can run amok, right? And so in my case, I try to stay present. We lose a lot of our life thinking about what was. Oh, well, I wish I hadn't gone to made that decision back when I was 10 or 15 or 30 or whatever. I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I hadn't been with that person. You spend all your day thinking about what you can't change. Nothing, you can't change any of that. It makes you who you are.
That's right.
You can get paralyzed in regret that you made a poor decisions. But look here, none of us make perfect decisions. You can't go through life and make the perfect decision.
That's right.
You're gonna make bad decisions. You're gonna fail. I'm an example of that. As exemplary as my resume may look, man, for every good thing on my resume, I got 100 things I done screw up. I tell you the truth. Okay, I learned the hard way.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't ever think that I don't think about the past that way. I learn from it, but I don't dwell on it. And then I don't live in fantasy.
Oh, good.
A lot of us, especially with social media and all the lies we follow people have out there in the world, and we think, oh man, I could just maybe that could be my life someday. And all this. I don't live in fantasy. I have dreams, but dreams take action. So those actions happen in the present, right? So if I'm present, it makes me present to opportunity that are around me. I hear things, I see things, I discover things because I'm present. Someone will pass you by in life. You sitting right there thinking about yesterday or thinking about something down the road, and it'll be right there in front of you. So when you asked me about acting, I was just present. I was present in the moment to an individual who said, hey, this thing in New York, they're doing this movie and they need some NBA players. Would you think about going to New York and sitting down and having a meeting? I said, yeah. Okay. Now, if I had thought, well, I never had no acting classes, and I don't know how to act, and I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that, right?
Missed it.
I would have written a whole book on why I shouldn't go to New York, right? If I was thinking about, I can be Sidney Poitier, so why I got to drive to New York and have no meeting, and they gonna come to me?
Yeah.
No, it was an opportunity presented itself. I made the drive. It unlocked the door. I had my first opportunity in a movie. I didn't know what I was doing. I literally didn't know what I was doing. But they knew I was a beginner. So they didn't expect me to know what I was doing. Right? So for me to go there and pretend like I knew what I was doing I'd have been a fool. But for me to go there and every chance I get, sit and talk to Whoopi Goldberg and Richard Jenkins and Dennis Farina and all these actors and directors, I just ask questions. Once again, every chance I get, I just sat with them. Tell me what you do, how you do this. I just ask questions, and they impart the wisdom to me, and that opened the door, and I just kept going. That was my NBA career.
Yeah,
that was my entertainment career. Just kept going.
What's so powerful about all of what you're saying is that there's a bit of, like you said, you're covered in the blood, like you believe in God, and there is so much obedience in that process and humility in the process, right? That's the road to greatness. I hear a lot when I talk to people who are accomplishing and have accomplished things and accomplishing, that there is always this desire to step in the uncomfortable spaces to be great.
Oh, you got to.
You got to step into, because
if you're too comfortable,
you're not doing anything.
You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. People talk about wanting to go places and do things and be big and have this and have that and all that stuff. If you're comfortable, you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. If you think, to get there I got to do this, man, that can be too hard. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you need to do. It could be get up at 6 a.m. It could be go for the workout before you go to work. It could be whatever it is. Do the extra work, study something, read a book, learn about something, do a course. If you ain't putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, you can't grow.
That's deep. The uncomfortable positions, one of the things I say a lot is you'll never acquire greatness in comfort. I don't know where the line came from. I know who said it to me first.
Yeah.
When I was a young girl and I was working my first job outside of school. This was not my first time working outside of school. And I remember the supervisor, I'd done something as a young employee, and she said to me sternly, Nahaja, you will never acquire greatness in comfort. And she spoke to me as if she knew that I always wanted greatness. And she called to my greater person, and she said, when she said that, in her correction, she corrected my whole life. You know, and
what a gift.
Wherever Miss Bo is today, she'll
gift.
never know that that's the magnitude of what she did in that moment. Because she corrected my mind with that statement, my whole life, in that you have to, there will be roads and journeys that you go on that are going to be bigger and leave you in an anxiety-ridden space.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
But it propels you to get prepared. That's what I found that it's done for me.
Yes.
I now have to learn.
Yes.
There's a quest for knowledge, right? A quest to ask questions and how do I do this better? How do I immediately you go into school mode?
And don't have any noise about failing.
No, it is a process.
People trying to a lot of people out there trying to live the perfect life. First, I always say, for who? Who you trying to live the perfect life for? Because ain't nobody out here perfect.
That's right.
People, you running around, you might be interacting with a lot of people trying to fool you that they perfect. Boy, you see somebody trying to fool you that they perfect or they got the perfect setup. Boy, underneath that is a disaster. Imagine what it's like behind doors at home for them.
Stressed out.
Same way I tell people all the time, when somebody rude and they nasty, just know when you see those people talk to you like that or they attempt to interact with you in that kind of manner, know that they talk to themselves 10 times worse than that. And you will create a huge amount of empathy for them because they are in a lot of pain. If the way you treat somebody is how you treat yourself 10 times over. 10 times over. So sometimes when I see people with that type of level of rage and anger, I know that's how they talk to themselves. Worse.
Yeah.
And so you can forgive and let go and not hold on. You're not going to let them cross their line into boundaries where they become abusive. You set your boundaries and
yes,
stuff.
Of course.
But then you can also have empathy for what's going on for them because you just think, man, what's going on there? That if you're lashing out and talking to people this way, I can only imagine the conversations you're having in your head with yourself.
And that's so sad.
Yeah.
Very depressing.
Yeah.
And that's a great perspective on it, because you're right. That folks tend to, their internal then rims over into the external.
Right.
Right. So it is very much, and I love that, and a perspective that I've never considered, that they are indeed having these inner conversations. And God knows there's no greater critique of oneself than the person inside of you.
Anyone that's running around with a huge amount of judgment, boy, they're judging themselves daily. 10x. That's how hard they are on themselves.
Yeah. And you're, obviously now, the walk and the steps that you've taken, actually, we need to take a quick break because I want to ask a question when we come back about some of the struggles that you've encountered in this journey of success.
Yeah.
That I think many, because you talked about your anxiety, like the big roads of anxiety, those are those personal struggles, but any sort of mountain that you found that you had to climb for yourself.
Totally.
It's a good leadership story for us to share.
Okay.
You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja, Black Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We will be back right after this.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Burger King Nassau is taking spice to new heights with the new Baja Whopper and Baja Crispy Chicken sandwiches. Enjoy your choice of a flame-grilled Whopper or a crispy chicken filet topped with chipotle sauce, guacamole, jalapenos, cheese, lettuce, and tomato, all on a fresh potato bun. The new Baja sandwiches at Burger King Nassau pack plenty of flavor, and with an ice-cold Pepsi and fries or onion rings, it's the perfect way to fill your day. The Baja Whopper and Baja Crispy Chicken sandwich are only available at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Rick Fox joining us live in studio. Superstar Rick Fox. Superstar Rick Fox. Rick, thanks so much for the time, my friend.
My pleasure.
Okay, so, we've talked a bit about, in the beginning, about the process, the foundation, the tenets by which you stand and you stand firm on your faith in God. Show up. But it is strapped. What is
Suit
it?
up, show up.
Why is it so hard for me? I'm feeling slow.
That's
Suit
right.
up and show up,
Yeah.
right? Suit up and show up, which I love it. Suit up and show up, and that there's curiosity. There's this personal philosophy of yours where stay a rookie,
You're
always
gonna
be
grow,
be in
evolve.
learning mode.
Yeah.
And those are. Oh God, and I think that those are so powerful in the success story or the story. And the success is not just in the financial gain, but in the personal evolving and evolution of oneself. That if you can be successful in your own person and happy with yourself, filled with joy and proud of yourself, that you're already winning the battle of greatness, right? Because when the limiting beliefs come from someone else, you can say, but no, I don't believe that. I don't subscribe to those things.
Yeah.
And when others want to project their insecurities on you,
Right.
you say, but no, I know who I am. Right? And that takes a level of introspection.
Yeah.
And men, behaving men, I don't want to generalize, so I'm going to be careful when I say this. We are having some of our challenges overall, I think, as a people, and men in particular, stating and showing that, hey, there is introspection, that there is an acknowledgement of oneself. Yes, I'm in pain. Yes, I have concerns. Yes, I am feeling stunted in growth. Or just, saying, hey, I have some issues or I have concerns.
Vulnerability.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing, man. It's a hard place to go.
Yeah.
Especially in our culture. I grew up, like I said, it took me till probably 48 before I could, and that's even with an acting career. As an actor, I was forced to find, vulnerability, because that's all about, that's the craft. The craft is exposing yourself and going deep and learning about yourself and sharing that with the world through character. That's what I do, right? But that's not an easy thing for most men, especially Bahamian men. So, what I hope, if anything, I could share is that on the other side of that is the ability for connection and for a release of the weight that comes with having to project something that really I don't know if it serves. I mean, now if we were being attacked by foreign powers and we had to defend our country 100%. I picking up a bottle just like the next man, and I get you before I get you first, right? So it ain't nothing new. There ain't nothing soft about this island or our men, but we carry that with such I can show you.
Yeah.
Don't test me like that. Don't test me. I got to show you. That's a lot of energy. But I hope we can grow to a level where having vulnerability and expressing oneself is not seen as a weakness. It's just seen as human, right? It's seen as a human way, and actually, it's a healthy way to let those I don't care if it's from rage to fear to anxiety, all that, letting it out. If you bottle that up, that leads to
an explosive
behavior, depression, drinking, drugs, all the things that come with trying to cover up all of those feelings you have and that you don't know where to put them, right? You don't know how to express them. So we fill that hole with whatever vice. And we got them all. So when I talk about my own shortcomings, I always tell people that, some of my friends that are here at home, they go, boy, you Bahamian, boy. And they know that because all of those same things I point to, I have myself in spades that I've had to work through that still bubble up, okay? the pride will get in my way. I was a prideful man, real prideful. I have to check that at the door all the time, right? And so that ain't nothing new for me, right? The understanding of my ego, like, boy, I'll buck up quick when someone challenged me, and I'll feel slighted real quick. It'll make me want to fight, So all those things in I look at my career, my sports career. My failings. I didn't win a championship in year one. It took me 9 years because I had to work out a lot of issues I had with entitlement and how I interacted with my teammates and like I said, I was always looking for a fight. Even though I was the pretty boy, I was always looking for a fight. Yeah. Because I always felt.
You really always looking for a fight?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been in my share of fights in the league. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm glad you said it because listen, I can't see you as the pretty boy looking for a fight.
No. Yeah. I was always looking for a fight. I mean, I was known. I was the enforcer for all the teams I was on.
That's true. That's true.
So if something started up, I was first. But I was first to because I felt disrespected. Mm-hmm. You can't talk to me. You can't look at me any wrong way. Yeah. You look at me the wrong way. I can make in my mind 20 different things you just done say to me that I feel disrespected, and now I got to fix this, right? And so that got me into a lot of trouble. But I had to work through that. I had to understand that there's other ways of expressing yourself through through my action, through my words, through my own clarity of not projecting onto someone else some form of communication that they wasn't sending my way, right? I write in their script in my head.
That's right. You're making up a whole.
I'm making up a whole drama in my head that I got to now go act on. That ain't even there. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so
that's a lot of energy.
That's a lot of energy, man. And getting to a place where I decided I could lead with love and connectivity and support for others and service was not an easy thing for me to do.
And
right?
This is your challenge, even with having. You have things. This isn't a matter of you not having and that there's a frustration because of lack.
Now, but I grew up in our culture here is one of service as a tourist industry, right? Yeah. So people come, we serve them, they leave. Yeah. Right? So there's short spurts of connectivity with these foreigners and these strangers, right? So we develop a muscle. You here for a week, we getting everything we can get from you in that week. Right? Before you go, we trying to mine as much as we can get from you. So and look, we live in a pirate culture from history standpoint where our hair, I always tell people in the same, but he's a pirate.
That's it.
At the end of the day, you cut my blood, I's a pirate in there somewhere. Right? So
that's our culture. That's really what it is.
That comes with this lack of trust that I can relax in and build something and trust that I don't need to hoard or
store it away
or rape, pillage, and steal to get what I need because because I can't trust that you're gonna be here tomorrow. Yeah. So I gotta get what I can get. Right? That lives in me just like it lives in everyone else's from here. Right? So I had to be accountable to that nature that in my blood as a being, even though I over here in the States representing the country and representing everything, I could go to pirate real quick. Just like all of us. But when you understand that that's just hereditary, right? But you can't move through life unaware that you have the ability to be a pirate. Yeah. If you're subconsciously just acting throughout your life. Yes. Where you're taking these behaviors and you're not being accountable for them, right? You don't get a free pass to be that way, right? Just because our history was that way, right? No, we live in a different time, a different era. But when you're accountable for what you're capable of, then you can make different choices, right? I was making blind choices for a long time in my life. Look, I said, what's my challenges in life? I kick ass in career. I kick ass all day long in career. I fail in personal relationship. My fail in marriage. I fail in relationship in general in life with women in my life. So I'm on a journey to try and get to a place where I can be a better partner in a relationship, right? So I don't have any false pretense that in some way this is the Bahamian in me, right? It's like, so I try to learn how to be a better man in that area, right? Yes. So I can be accountable for that. Yes. I don't pretend that I'm the best, I've been the best person that way, right? As a father, Like that's challenges that I wear a shirt every day called Dope Dad, just to remind me to try and be a better dad on a daily basis. Now, I played ball in my career as an athlete, and I was traveling all over the place. My TV and movie take me all over the place. I got 2 kids. They need me. They're 26 and 21. I still raising them to this day because I fill in the holes in the lessons that I didn't get them when I was moving all over the world.
That's
right? So I could just check the box and say, well, I just failed on that one. I'm going to keep going.
No.
Or I could literally look at it and say, you know what? No, I'm a father until I go on from this earth. And I still have things to offer them. So whether I look at that and I say I failed in that area, okay, but I could still get up and try and improve as a father, right? And so there's all these things that I like to talk about because I always say, people say, you 3-time NBA champion. I say, but I about a 1,000-time loser. You know how many times I lost in all these other areas of my life? I mean, straight up lose. But all people want to talk about is, oh, you an actor, you an NBA player, you this, you that. Oh, you a businessman. Yeah, I could kick ass in business.
All day.
You give me career, it's a layup.
We figured that out. We're going to do this.
Because I could do that.
Yeah.
It's in my personal life that my journey to being a better man outside of who I am as a businessman and career. It's like, how do I become a better man in those areas? So I can look another person that has those struggles in the eye and go, bro, I get it. I know exactly where you at.
Yeah.
Because I try to be a better person there too. Right? So I quick to say that I have work to do in those areas. Yeah. Because again, I can be a beginner in those areas till I get it right. Right? And I don't expect that, I got to show up and act like I did that side too perfect too.
Yeah.
I did all that good.
Yeah.
I did all that good. No, I didn't. I did the best I knew how to. Right? You know why? Because I didn't ask enough questions in that area.
That's interesting. And I'm actually, that's a perfect point, right? Because there's some things that we don't ask questions about. I find that in marriages or relationships, we tend not to ask questions, right? We don't, I like you. I love you. Let's do this.
That was me. Okay? I would fall in love with the idea of what we could be. I would fall in love with what was in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay, this is amazing.
I like this.
I miss America. Let's go.
Let's do this.
You the best thing I have to offer over here. Let's go. Let's do this. But what I learned is that, man, I got to know myself.
Yeah, definitely.
So much time we don't spend getting to know our own self.
Loving ourselves.
What we like, what we stand for, what are our values, what are our characters, who are the people we want to be around. If we don't have clarity in that place, anybody could walk in our life.
And impress us.
And impress us and influence us, impact us, take us down some path. Next thing you know, we doing things that we know we ain't supposed to do, but now we tied to something. We trying to figure out how I get out of this. Right now, you got to figure out how to back out of a situation that you try to untangle, right?
Yeah.
And so that element in general is you got to know yourself, and then you can see in someone else their values and character and the things that are important to them. And a lot of people don't have these real conversations. Yeah. They get off and they go for 6 months to a year, and they ain't know who they dating. They're in a relationship with someone. The idea of somebody,
stranger.
They projecting something that they think you want. You projecting something you think they want.
Come on now.
Those two people done gone off and got married or whatever, and then the real people show up at the table
afterward,
and you're like, "Who is you?
Yeah, and
I don't like you
at all.
I don't agree with that." And then you're in a situation where you're like, "Well, what are we doing?" Right? And so the conversations, like you say, where you're having real conversations about owning who you really are. I say, when you fall in love with somebody, you get in a relationship, you better love the worst part of them.
That's always it.
You better love you better be you signing up. When I tell myself, look here, when I interact with relationships with women, I said, I sign up for the worst version of you. So if you don't show me the worst version of you so I can know what I signed up for, I don't really know what I'm getting into. Yeah. And you don't. So I show the worst version of myself.
But it's tough though, Rick. Man, because Rick,
I tell you what's worse, what's harder, what's tougher, being at the front end, owning up to this is me and this is you, or finding out you in the middle of something and you're like, oh Lord, now I got to figure out how to get out of this. That's worse.
With kids, but
that's
I can
worse.
imagine though for you though, Rick, you're Rick Fox.
Yes,
right? You're Rick Fox.
Yeah.
So of course, you are inundated with beautiful women, beautiful people. All
that's
the time.
That's a curse.
And
it's a blessing and a curse.
So now, how do you? Because listen, in regular life, right? Just dating, nobody really puts their true self forward.
I do.
Yeah, well, I'm happy.
No, I do. Because I learned if I don't,
But
people
now-
will project onto me some
Exactly.
idea of Rick Fox, and
But
they'll
will-
fall in love with the Rick Fox.
But will they?
And then they'll meet me, and they'll be like, "I did that.
know
Well,
that.
I didn't know you was Bahamian.
I
I
don't-
didn't know you gotta act like that. Like,
Where
who was
did
that?
that
I didn't know
come
you
from?
speak like that.
Who's
Like,
that?
so all of that got to
But,
be
but
there.
will they come to you
They
and,
come.
and show you their true selves? And see, that's the thing. I think in your position, it's tough.
You know what is? You know what has been a beauty of being an artist as an actor, is that the gift and the craft of acting is the study of human behavior.
Ah, got it.
So I read people like a book.
Wonderful.
What they saying, I know the subtext. I listen with all my senses.
That's it.
Okay, I do it as a profession. I get paid to do it.
Yeah.
But what it has done for me in real life is when I'm in the presence of anyone, I can see through them on levels that they have no idea. They have no idea
So
what
strong discernment.
So I have
Yes.
strong discernment
Yes.
around people.
Yes.
Okay, and I see in the presence of someone for a couple hours, I know more about them than they have revealed. Okay, and so that is a gift that is afforded me the ability not to step into so many situations that in younger days I fall in blindly.
Yeah.
Right, for a lot of reasons, for pleasure, for fun,
Yeah.
just for the drama, like I would just go there, And so when I talk about my kids, and I have a daughter that's 21 now, and so when she turned 12, I was in a relationship with this girl, and she was younger, and beautiful actress, and real established, and I could tell that she wasn't ready for stepmom duties. She wasn't ready for raising a woman of color. Like she didn't know how to handle that.
Yeah.
So she got all anxiety and stressed out about that. And I had to make a choice because I saw it impacting my daughter. She saw another woman between her and her dad.
Yeah.
She didn't know how to process that. So, I parted ways to be a dad, and because I needed to show my daughter, she needed a man in her life. And I looked at 13 to 21, and I said,
Pivotal
look here,
years.
pivotal years. If chickens will come home to roost
That's right.
in a big way, if I'm not the man in her life between now, and if I don't focus on her in a way that she feels safe, she's looking for men out in the world that have the values and character that her dad has. If I don't show that now, boy, it's gonna be hell to pay. And it's my job as a father is to show her that and to be there for her. So I focus on her the last 7 years. Like that's been my relationship with a woman, is to make sure that my daughter sees a man in her life that she can call on and not feel like, because look here, when I single, women come in and out of my life and I date and I didn't want her to see that. I didn't want her to see like that she had to compete with 3 and 4 and 5 different women, and then she had to get to know every different woman every year. It's like, I was like, no, that ain't right. And so, this me as a dad with my daughter in my life, and then there's my personal life that unless I'm ready to introduce that person to my kids, and that's all. They've crossed a huge
Line right there. Yes.
canyon to get to that point.
Yeah.
But I'm getting more freer up now, and that my daughter's moving on. She's 21. She's starting to ask me like
Daddy, what's going
Daddy,
on?
you need.
They're not worried that you might die single now.
Exactly. Trust me, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't happening.
That ain't happening.
That ain't happening.
When the kids start asking those questions.
Yeah,
now,
no,
that's-
but again, a part of me wanted to know that they were,
matter.
that they are important in my life.
You matter. And
That
for
I'm
the
here.
kids,
That
and-
I'm here.
Listen,
They can
this
ask.
is huge.
Yeah.
Children need that, especially from their fathers, right? Daughters too.
Yes.
Hey, daddy chooses me first.
Yes.
I'm the woman in his life.
Yeah.
And then you welcome. Once that space is, secure, that you're secure in the space that daddy has me covered.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that anyone comes, you're never threatened in your space.
Right.
And so you welcome them. And if daddy's serious, then I'm serious because I love him, he loves me, and my space is secure. It's a powerful thing. And
I watched my daughter go. I watched her go from, because dad was on the road all the time during her younger years, right? And it was hard for me to even just give her a hug. She was like, when she was like 10, 11, 12, I was like, whoa.
What's going on?
I can't give my daughter a hug. She's not.
Wow.
She went through a divorce with Vanessa and I, so she was slightly confusing. Sometimes you're here, sometimes you're not here. Like you're in LA, mom's in New York. I mean, so I had to work. I had to rebuild that.
Yeah.
That took some time.
Wow.
To where now she come up and give me an hug. Oh, Dad. And that means the world. That means everything in the world to me. That she feels safe enough now. That I mean, and when I tell you we talk daily, and she searches out me, and we have conversations about everything in her life. That was the relationship that was more important than me having my own relationship out there in the world. I can get to that.
Yeah.
And if I die alone, and that's all I had,
man, listen.
hey, you know what? I lived a good life already. Trust me. Trust me. I got a lot of memories.
You got stories.
I can write a book. I got enough going on. I checked a lot of boxes.
We all think you're straight, though.
Yeah.
Nobody's worried.
I don't have any noise about it. People project what they want to project. That's on them.
No one is worried about Rick. I'll tell you that. And I think but this is such a powerful story to share, because that this is an issue in country or around the world, but in particular in Black communities where you have the mother, father, they're not together, and dad's trying to figure out, how do I connect with my kids? I'm not with mom anymore. We're separated.
Right.
How do I get that relationship back? What do I do? We're divorced now, and
here's. I said this earlier. You want to be present. You want to be present in the world with people when you're present, right? You want to be present. That means we are here together. Yeah. I'm not thinking about where I'm going next when I get out of here. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I'm present. We're here. Yeah. This is all we have. I may walk out here and get struck by lightning. This is what we have, right? There's a moment in time. We're making that together. You want to be present for your kids. Now, some people say, well, I don't have them all the time. I only got them one day a week or this. When you're with them, be present.
Always.
Be present. And by that I mean, don't show up and you take them somewhere and you hand them off to your mother or your net. No, be present. And I don't care how much time that is. You be present. And boy, I tell you that's what kids need. That's what they want. They want to see you. They want to know that you're there. Consistency is the other thing.
And it's not about money. It's about time.
It's look. We spend all our energy grinding to make money, right? Make money so we could provide. And I said, look, you'd be surprised what you could live without.
That's it.
I'm a man that's had all the money one could want and need. I could buy anything I want. Material things. Trust me, people sometimes have to find it for themselves. They have to get there.
Understand it.
They have to get there and get it and realize it still doesn't make them happy.
They're still lacking.
Those your personal relationships and the time you spend with people, that journey you have in life, the things you experience, the memories you make, that's the wealth. Your health is your wealth, and your memories and the times you create with people in your life, that's what this is about. You could have no money and go down to the beach with friends and family and create more memories than some dude flying around a private jet, going to all these different places trying to prove that he's some big shot or something, and be miserable. I'm telling you, I've been both of those places.
This is powerful.
I've been both of those places. Any situation, any level of power, any level of money, I live all that, right? The simplicity the things I love the most, simplicity, is me and my daughter going and getting a meal, me and my son going and doing something together, coming home to the Bahamas, laughing with my buddies I went to school with. Yeah. Those little things, those are things that raise the hair on my skin, right? Not that I could go jump on a plane and private plane and go this way and that way. That's taxing because I gotta pay for that. I gotta maintain that. That's all those things. They talk about baggage as we get older in life. Yeah. People talk about feeling weighed down. It's all those material things that weigh you down.
And the need to maintain. Let
me tell you something. To maintain them, we want them because we think because our identity gets tied up. Yeah. We think we're more special when we have those things.
Exactly.
Right? Because we lead with those things. Who are we without? If I can't roll up in a Bentley or a Range Rover, who am I?
Yes.
Well, you need to find out who you are without all those things, because you're still enough. You're still enough, and we constantly fill in that hole we have of, am I enough? Am I famous enough? Am I rich enough? Am I attractive enough? Am I all this enough thing? We trying to spend all our energy trying to grab these things to make us feel like we enough. Unnecessary.
Being enough on your own. And so, Rick, I'm just loving this conversation. We have one more segment. When we come back, I want to talk to you about this next venture in your life, this esports, and I'm curious on that, on what it could mean for us. Of course, we got now a fintech company here with FTX.
Blockchain, yeah.
And we've got esports is a thing here. They're gamers.
You're gamers.
Right,
I love them. I love them for that.
Like real gamers.
I know them as real gamers because
Yeah.
they participate in League of Legends, which is something that I was a part of.
I know, and so I wanted to ask you just on, as a businessman, and going into something that is at the time when you went, it still felt pretty new.
Yeah.
And you jumped head in. I love that. You're fearless. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja. We'll be back.
Grand Bahama, it's time to read all about it once again, as the Nassau Guardian starts a weekly Grand Bahama news supplement each and every Tuesday starting February 8th. Learn more about advertising opportunities in the Grand Bahama news supplement by calling Barefoot Marketing at 727-9515 or 827-4578. Grand Bahama, make sure you get your Nassau Guardian daily and grab your Grand Bahama news supplement each Tuesday to keep up with all the latest Grand Bahama news.
When I had got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live at Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. That's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Got in studio with me none other than Rick Fox himself. I'm really feeling like a big timer now. I'll tell you that.
Only because you're in the presence of this big dude.
I mean, that too. And plus, really, I am short though. God knows. You're super tall and I'm just really short. This is ridiculous. But because you have reached stardom, superstardom, and that folks know you. You are a household face and name, and yet you are as humble and accessible as one could be, and that is refreshing and encouraging and even more exciting. I'll tell you that. More than just being on TV is the person that you are, even in this conversation. Such level of honesty and openness that I think really will help a lot of people that are listening, help to encourage them, help to remind them that you are that you are enough. You said something so powerful that it resonated with me. You're at the table. So just being at the table, if they invited you to the table, you've got it.
You're there.
Yeah, and you're there. Now they know what you are. They know where you are. They know who you are. And they're willing to work with you to get to the next thing.
And they don't expect you to be anything else.
That's a powerful thing.
You're putting that pressure on yourself.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Why be okay with being a beginner? Just know it.
Ahead.
Just know that you're a beginner.
Yeah, and have you ever experienced imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
like
totally.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
All the time.
Yeah.
And that's because I've put myself in a position where, if imposter syndrome is only shows up when I think I should be something or someplace that I'm not already.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I start to act all weird and try to pretend like I know what I'm doing, and you don't. And then everyone looking at you like, "What you doing?"
Okay.
We know you don't know how to do that. So stop.
We're here for you.
Stop pretending like you know how to do that. And the secret is to beat them ahead of time. Show up and go, "Hey, I don't know what I'm doing."
Yeah. Hello. Someone. Can I get some help,
Excited
please?
to be here. Glad to be here.
Thank you for the welcome.
No one's gonna outwork me.
That's it.
But this is all I know. I only know this little bit right here.
I love it.
Please show me what else I need to know. I'll pick it up quick, and then I'll do that too.
Come on. And and I'll put in the work.
Put in the work.
You
Now, if you're gonna show up and if you're not gonna suit up and show up, if you're gonna be unprofessional,
no.
Which, look, I took a lot of our culture with me when I went to the States, and they had to break me of that to fit in their world. Right, that's their world and their structure, but I found that structure served me eventually at a certain point in time when I realized, no, you know what, your time is just as valuable as mine.
That's
right. If I'm supposed to be somewhere, I'll be somewhere because I don't know. You might have to pick up your kid after this,
That's
or
right.
you may have to go visit someone in the hospital. I don't know.
That's right.
Right, but if I don't give you the respect in your time that I would hope you would give me,
That's right.
then I'm really not moving through the world with the level of respect that I think we should have for each other.
Yeah.
And no status or stature should, the highest level of power here in the country should respect the lowest level person's time if they decide, hey, we're going to get together, or we're going to do this or do that, right? And there's a pace with which an urgency with which we move at times that I think if we would implement in our own personal lives. Moving with purpose is something that I think is attractive, right?
Oh, I love that.
It's attractive when you move with purpose and you move in a timely manner and you have an understanding of
that.
Just move with purpose.
I like the word that you said, attractive.
It is attractive. It's super attractive. You can see it in people. People that have intent, people have clarity in what they're doing, they're moving with purpose. Those people want to be around those people.
You're right, and that is so true because it is sort of a law of attraction in that state, in that space.
So
that's interesting.
So, I talked about the craft of acting, right,
Yeah.
and my ability to be present and to study human behavior and to understand what's going on with somebody across the table from me. We carry with us so much communication.
Yeah.
Some people think we don't know what people can't hear what I think in or see what I feel in. That's all in our body. I don't read minds, but I read minds.
Yeah.
I can actually know what's going on by when people talk. What are they really saying? And that's powerful, right? And so the point about being alone is one where I went through that at a period where I was doing some work on myself because what being alone allows us to do is actually spend time with ourselves.
Yes.
But
And there's a difference between lonely and alone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's lonely and then there's alone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People don't like to be alone with themselves.
That's right. That's right.
Because it forces you to look at yourself, right? It forces you to deal with your thoughts, deal with your choices. Like that, we want to run away from that. And that's why we say, I don't like being alone. They want to go find someone else
to distract them
from themselves.
Yeah.
If you want to ever evolve, being alone is great. Being alone will get you to a place where you can be with yourself. And until you can be with yourself, you can't really be with anybody else.
That's right.
Because wherever you go, there you are. And all you're doing is tacking on someone else on top of you. And if they don't know who they are, and they can't be alone with themselves.
God help you. Train wreck.
So when you feel alone, those are the moments where you actually have to be with yourself and actually deal with you. And those are the moments you get to really ask yourself, who is it that I am? What is it that I really stand for? Who is it that is really in my life? Who am I allowing to be in my circle? Because if I now go out and just fill my aloneness up with just anybody to get me out of that place of being with me, then your life looks exactly like the 5 people you have most around you.
That's deep.
Your life looks exactly like the 5 people you spend the most time with.
That's amazing.
So when you look around, when you listen to this and you look around, who I spend the most time with in my life? Look at those people. Think about what they're bringing to your life, what you're bringing to their life.
That's it.
Look at what they're offering you and what you're offering them. And your life looks exactly like the people you spend your time with.
This is powerful stuff. And it's so true.
And if you say, if you don't like where you at,
look around you.
Look around you and find that those people in those places that you spend. I had to do that with my daughter. I had to teach her that. Because she was like, Dad, I can't wait to get out of school because my friends. I said, whoa. No, the lesson for you is to be you with those friends, regardless of who they are. You have to bring you to that equation. Because if you're allowing them to influence you to the point where you feel like you can't be you, then you've given them too much power. You need a new set of people in your life.
You do.
And it's not to say that they're not your friends or that you're people, but who are you giving your time to? And who are you allowing to fill your time? Because people will fill your time with a whole lot of nonsense and nothing to do other than they just don't want to be alone with themselves.
That's it.
So they come into you to pull
To
you
waste
into
your time.
to waste your time.
Yep.
They ain't offering anything.
No.
They just want to get their mind off of themselves.
So misery loves company. You remember?
Misery
we said that?
loves company.
Misery loves company.
Talk about the crabs in the barrel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That's a huge lesson I had to learn. Because my openness and willingness to let people be in my life, I was
Just
giving
come on
people
in.
too much access.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too much access.
Isn't that powerful though? That realization, that learning, because we really don't protect our time when we're younger. All we want to do is be out there and be open and accessible. Right?
Yeah, difference between acquaintances and friends.
Yeah, knowing the difference.
You can have acquaintances.
That's fine.
Like this, you can have hundreds of acquaintances. Those
Yeah.
are people that, hey, how you doing?
Just saying, yeah,
I
yeah,
see you. Hey,
yeah.
maybe we cross paths at the movie.
Exactly.
Say a couple words. Bro. A friend is someone that you 100% you can be yourself with at all times. A friend will be someone to call you out and be
On
like,
your BS.
They'll call you on your BS and tell you, hey, that ain't cutting it.
I love my friends.
Yeah, that ain't cutting it. For real.
And you find that they trend with you for most of your life. Like when you find that.
They want you to succeed.
Yes. And they never
celebrate
watch you for jealousy. None of those things.
They
No.
celebrate you. They the rocket fuel.
Yep.
And you're the rocket fuel for them.
Yeah. When you're
Like,
struggling, you
man,
can go to them.
boy.
Listen.
That's hard to find.
Yeah.
Because when you grow and you progress, people feel like they get left behind. People like you moved on, you changed. Number one, I'm gonna tell you, you changed. Don't ever deny that you didn't change.
You grew.
You grew. Yes, I changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So would you prefer me to stay here and be the same person I was yesterday? What did that can do? Oh, because that's comfortable.
Yeah.
You want me to be comfortable with what I was 5 years ago.
That's what they want.
Because I only have what I had 5 years ago. I'm only going to be 5 years ago smart. I'm going to be 5 years ago. In any way, I only have to offer you what I could offer you 5 years ago if I stay there. But if I grow, I could even share what I learned in the last 5 years with you if you're still back there. And hopefully maybe you'll come up here.
Yeah.
Right? So if someone tells you change, you tell them thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That means
I love that.
That means I put myself in uncomfortable situations. I grew. I did things on my own when maybe you weren't present and didn't know I was doing them. I learned things. I took this course. I grew. But you upset because we're not in the same place back here? But how can I celebrate you? Like, what do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
I took this class. Here you go.
Yeah.
You can take this if
What do
you're
you think
interested.
about this?
If you're interested in this.
Yeah.
You know?
But I'm not staying in one place.
But don't minimize or lessen yourself to make others feel comfortable, because they don't want to be uncomfortable. We spend all our energy trying to be in no pain, right? No emotional pain, no physical pain, no. We don't work hard. We want it easy. We want life to be easy, right? The whole goal is supposed to get this wealth and get all this stuff, accomplish all these things, so you could be.
Yeah.
You could be
A-okay.
You could be A-okay and relax.
Yeah. You'll have everything.
People say, "Well, boy, I can't wait to have all this money so I could just retire and travel around and do this." That to me, the idea of that will never come from me. I run away from that. The idea that somehow I would stop and not be growing,
yes,
and pursuing something,
Yeah.
or being creative or building a bit. Like, we only hear, hey, this is not a dress rehearsal.
This is
I tell
it.
us all, this is it.
This is it.
So if you think at some point, listen, this ain't a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
Get living or get dying, because we all dying. We all dying. You know, that's a hard thing.
That's the truth.
That's a hard thing for people to
The juxtaposition of life, eh?
to really process, because we spend all our energy trying to stay alive.
That's it.
Like, we can somehow put off what is inevitable, right? Now, yes, you take care of your health because in the time you were here, you want to be in the ability to move around, do the things you want to do. But we're all dying, and this ain't a dress rehearsal. So get to living, because you're dying. And so I don't know what you're waiting for. See, I don't wait. If something come in front of me, I jump, and I build a parachute on the way down. And here's what I trust. I trust that I will suit up, show up, and figure out how to build that parachute before I hit the ground.
Before you hit the ground.
Right? And that's the urgency that I live my life with. I got to build this parachute before I hit the ground. I gotta ask the questions. I gotta get the knowledge. I gotta get the data. I gotta find the partnerships. I live with that urgency because no matter what silo of industry or whatever I'm doing, I'm building the parachute because I done jump.
That's it.
Because this ain't no dress. This ain't no dress rehearsal. I might not get the opportunity to jump again. So you open the door for me. Forget a foot in the door. I done jumped in the room.
The whole body in. I'm in.
Hey, I'm here. I know what I'm doing.
But I reach.
But I reach.
I reach.
Right? You want to show me? Show me because I is a fast learner.
Yeah, that's
I can learn fast. Yeah. And before you know it, I can be teaching you.
That's it.
Right? Or I can be opening the door for the next person to jump in. Because I that do it to just be like, hey, in here now?
Hey.
Come on, man, get in here.
Yeah.
But don't when I open that door, look at me and be like, man, it looks scary. Man, it look like that's a big room.
We don't have time for that.
Move out the way, Bray.
Someone else
move. Who jump in? Let's go. Time to go. Right? Jump. Be uncomfortable. Build a parachute with urgency.
Yeah.
Ask the questions. Get the information. Trust that you can figure it out.
And be okay if the thing that you
and if you hit the ground, if you hit the ground and you dead, you was gonna dead anyway.
You're right. It was coming anyhow.
It was coming anyway.
But don't be riddled by fear. Don't be stopped by your insecurities.
You can have them, but don't expect you ain't supposed to have them.
Come on now.
You can have your insecurities. I'm insecure. I'm insecure all the time. And I mean that. I'm telling you. But I don't think I shouldn't be. I don't have any shame about it.
Yes.
To this day, after 25 years of being in TV and movies, if I show up on, like, I'm being considered to do a role in a movie that was an Oscar, they're doing a remake of this movie.
Oh, wow.
And they called me the other day. And it's big time directors. Oscar, I mean, like, the Hollywood elite of the elite.
Oh, wow.
All right. Now, do I believe this shouldn't show up now? No. I'm 25 years in this business.
I'll show
up. Of course I should be getting a call like this, right?
Yes.
Right? But am I nervous and scared? You better believe it. It ain't 25 years. I've been doing this for 25 years. But if Dave, you ask me, you scared? I'd be like, hell yeah. But I'm also excited. But I done jump.
I'm in.
So I in.
This is it.
So we can figure it out while we there. Right? But I ain't gonna show up the set and think that I can't be these things. I can be like,
all right.
Boy, this is exciting, but I'm scared. But let's do this. Let's figure this out. Right? And that's how you show up. That's how you just show up. Own it. Own it. Take that Bahamian pride and own it. From I got this to I ain't got this.
Yes.
Same thing. Just own it. Own it.
You'll never acquire greatness in comfort.
Boy, no.
Never.
No. And if you comfortable,
run. Get out of the space.
If you run.
Yeah. You got to do something else.
Do something else.
Stretch.
Have to.
Man.
Because we're going to be dead soon.
That's right.
We're soon dead. Trust me.
My dad said to me, Rick, when I was younger, and it's lived with me, never live a life of regret.
No.
And then his thing is the regret of not doing, not trying, not pursuing. You know, the regret of missing the opportunity, not being ready. And that has been a key principle in my life.
Yeah.
That I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and reach Rick.
You know what it's going to do? Yeah. You could try in one area in your life and fail, but I guarantee you, something in that effort is going to serve you somewhere else.
It will.
You might not see it in that moment, but you might, oh man, I tried to do that thing. I tried to jump over there and I fall down and anyway. Get up. Be like, okay, I learned something here.
I learned something.
Now I can keep trying it.
Yeah.
And I can keep learning.
Yeah.
Or I can say, you know what?
Hold
on. You know what, over here, this thing I do over here? Or you know, if I take this and put this over here and try this, it's going to serve me over here.
That's right.
Right now you look like a genius over here. You're like, how you know that? Oh, because I failed over here. It had nothing to do with this. But boy, I jumped over here and it taught me something. And that's the cross-pollination of lessons learned in life from the things you've tried, whether it's relationship, whether it's work, whether it's your hobbies, whether it's something that you discovered, like all those things serve. And that's why when you're present here, in the moment, you can pull from those places
That you've learned so
those
much.
that you were present in, that you learned from over there, and you can bring it. Because you'll be sitting there and you'll be like, oh, I'm present with you. Now you done made me think about something over here.
Yes.
I can tell you about that time I did that. And that happened.
That's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
It is a powerful thing to learn also from the no's, or those no's are
Let me tell you something.
no's don't even hurt me anymore.
Hurt.
It is no, okay.
I just look for no's.
I mean, like, okay.
Hurry up, because if I need about 300 no's, because I know a yes coming at
in
301.
and it's gonna be big.
It's gonna be big.
Much bigger than your first no.
Hey, can you do this? No? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate your
Moving
time.
on. Yeah.
Hey, can you do this? No? Okay.
Okay.
You like this? No? Okay, thank you.
right.
And I just keep going. Another lesson. Get the yes and no fast.
Don't belabor it.
Get to the yes and the no fast. Don't have any emotion about it. Don't have any noise about it. Don't be disappointed when someone tell you no. They may not be able to give it to you. They may want to, but they just can't give it to you.
Move on.
Don't make it a personal thing.
Yes.
That's a wasted energy. Thank you. Be grateful. They gave you the time to actually even entertain your requests. Get the yes and no's quick. Make requests. People have a lot of noise about asking people for things. You know why? Because they don't want to hear no. They don't want to be disappointed. They don't want to be let down if someone say, if I ask you for this and you say you can't do it. Man, dang. Yes, no. Hey, can I borrow your glasses? No? Okay. So, okay. Hey, can I borrow your glasses? I can use them. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Get the yes and no.
I love it.
And the reason people don't get the yes and no fast enough is because they don't want no one to ask them for anything. Because if I ask you for something, I open myself up. I owe you.
That's a powerful. Wow,
Watch
that's
this.
deep.
But ask me for my glasses. Go ahead, ask me for my glasses.
Can I borrow your glasses?
I don't have any glasses. I have a phone. You want to borrow my phone?
I'll borrow your phone.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People don't like to say no. People don't like to disappoint people.
That's right.
But if it's just yes or no, you ain't got no noise. It ain't no noise.
That's it.
Ain't no wait there.
Yeah.
Hey, can I do this? No? Okay. Hey, off. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
I love
Yes,
that.
no. Yes, no.
And feel no emotion, do it.
If I could do it, I could do it. If I can't do it, I can't do it. Now, if you get all upset because I say no,
Yeah.
that's on you.
That's it.
I ain't got no
That
time
got
for
nothing
that.
to me. I just,
That's you
your
asked
burden.
me. I was open enough to let you ask. I don't know. People ask me all the time about stuff. If I could do it, I do it. If I can't do it, I tell them I can't do it. That's all it is. Now, if you get all upset about it,
That's on you. That's your burden.
You
to
run
carry.
off and be like, "Oh, that Rick Fox, he can't. He don't ever do nothing. He ain't ever do nothing." That's trust me. You ain't in my mind. I ain't thinking about you. And you could come back tomorrow and ask me the same question. I have no noise. If I could do it tomorrow, it might be different. I'll tell you, I could do it today. Couldn't do it yesterday, but I could do it today. So for y'all out there, y'all run into me.
It is
You
what
ask
it
me,
is.
it is what it is. I can tell you what I can do. I can tell you what I can't do.
But that's powerful too, though.
But I might ask you for something.
That's right.
And you might tell me, no, I can't do that. And I can be like, high five.
Yeah.
Good talking to you. Nice to meet you.
Get to the
No
yes and
noise.
no's
Get to the
quickly.
yes and no's.
Move
Think
on.
about that. Think about that. You might be 10,000 no's and all you need is one yes.
That's it.
But people just get stuck on that first no.
And then
And
your
I
whole
mean-
world
and your whole world
collapses.
come collapsing
Oh
down
my
because
God, they
one
said
person told you
no.
no.
Yeah.
See, I just raise money. I have my own money. I just put it in my business. But I just raise money. I have no noise about asking people to invest in my things. People say no all the time. But you know what else they do? Hey, I can't do it, but let me introduce you to someone else. Because when they say no, you say, hey, well, you might be able to do it, but is there anybody in your network that maybe I could talk to?
Yeah.
And they might refer you to someone else. Get the yes and no.
I love it.
Stop
And
having
that's
so
such a
much noise about
powerful
yes and
thing.
no.
Yeah. And
Disappoint people and be disappointed. Disappoint people and be disappointed. People try to go through life and not get disappointed. Life is a disappointment. Think about it.
It sure as hell is.
We dead at the end. That's the biggest disappointment.
Rick Fox in the building, y'all. I love this conversation. Why haven't we done this before? My God. Okay. I have to ask you this before because you hit on so many tenants, and I know we're out of time. 5 minutes, with like no time at all.
Yeah.
Last thing, gaming, because
Yeah.
we've talked about it, but you jumped in head first in that.
Yeah.
Where
no
is
way.
it going? Where are you in it?
Well, where I'm at right now is I'm excited about moving out of where I was competing with my esports company, where we were competitive gamers, to now making video games. So now I'm making them. So I have a company that's 4 black founders. It's the only company in Hollywood that's made up of 4 black founders. So we created, we're paving the way for young men and women that look like us that need to see a way in. And so we've created that, and we're doing exceptionally well. I want to bring an element of that home to the Bahamas to teach young men and women how to make video games and tell their stories and create their own visions for a video game. I cut my teeth down on Johnson Road with an Atari 2600 when I was 12 years old. Before I picked up a basketball, I had an Atari 2600 in my hand.
You were a gamer
I was
early.
playing video games, right? So the fact that my son is now a video game developer is important to me because he's found his way through the industry. But it's also exciting because I think technology has afforded us to create these miracles of interactivity anywhere in the world. And so why not on our shores here, right? So the fact that we have individuals that have now entering the country from a blockchain and cryptocurrency and NFT space, which I'm well versed in, they're gamers themselves. We've talked about doing some things together from a gaming capacity. They love the games I love, and we're going to figure that out. So I'm hoping they share in that passion with me and that we can create some a games industry here. I welcome that. I welcome them to engage with me in that. I think we will. It takes time, but we'll get that done. And then also the other part of my life that is all-consuming is my passion for sustainable carbon-negative products. I have a company that makes building materials, and my hope is to make homes that are carbon-negative, that are stronger than the homes that are faced the weather we face. And we're going to do that here at home as well too, and globally. But I'm looking forward to manufacturing from here at home, and awesome. At some point developing a way to express ourselves through manufacturing with carbon-negative materials that are going to be 100% carbon negative, no resins, no toxins, recyclable, everything that's good for our planet. Hopefully we can make some of those products here too.
Yeah, we need them.
Yeah, the world needs them.
Oh yeah. Rick, thank you so much. Yeah. This was a pleasure, and I cannot just say that again. This was
it's my honor.
I mean, an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And very rarely I could say I've had guests who exceeded my expectations. And you, and just the storytelling and your openness, your frankness, it was so refreshing for someone who comes with such great stature in terms of accomplishment. So thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.